that's all you're getting is just a little tease of a fiddle tune today. Instead, I'm going to spend more of my time on a magic review. Welcome to the channel. I'm FiddlinJonny, and it's my fiddle channel and magic review. So today I'm going to get into Chapter 2 of Dani DaOrtiz's 12-part series on exploring the topic of any card at any number. It's a fascinating series. I'm really enjoying it, but you're going to want to stick around for the review and see if this is something you might be interested in. See you in a second. All right, everyone, welcome back. I'm FiddlinJonny. Glad that you're here. And today I decided I would wear my beanie in honor of Dani DaOrtiz and reviewing this project, because Dani always is, seems like lately, wearing his beanie in this project. So this is my homage to you, Dani. Hope you like the beanie. Also, it just covers the bald pate that I have up here. Hey, I hope everyone's doing okay. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, go ahead and subscribe. I try to get these up every single week, and really want to be helpful to you if you're looking at magic products, that you can come here first before you go and purchase a product. See if I've done a review of that product and get my perspective, and I hope that that is helpful. All right, I don't want to waste any more of your time. Let's go ahead and get into Chapter 2 of Dani DaOrtiz's Any Card at Any Number project. And if you're not familiar with this, Dani's partnered with Penguin Magic and is releasing a new Any Card at Any Number routine each month, and it goes on for a full 12 months. This is Chapter 2, which came out in April. Okay, I'm a little behind. I should be up to May's, but I think that's where we're at. Let me talk a little bit about the routine that this one is taught. In this Any Card at Any Number routine, it is a 2-deck routine. So basically you can use 2 borrowed decks. They're not stacked or anything of that nature. They are freely shuffled by your spectators. And one spectator will pick out a packet of cards, while your other spectator will pick a card randomly, and then randomly return that card to the deck. Spectator 1 will add up the face values of the card. So let's say if the face values equal 23, then go to the 23rd position in the deck, and there is the freely chosen card at that position. So it's a great routine. I think it's structured great. I think it's strong. I have no issues with the routine. It is really, really good. So that's the effect. The nice thing is you can use borrowed decks. They don't even need to be full decks, so that there's no suspicion or heat on those. They're not gaff decks. They are totally normal. So let's talk a little bit about what you get in Chapter 2. Again, you're not getting sent anything to you. It is simply a download or streaming video through Penguin Magic. You're going to get 67 minutes in instruction and some odd in seconds. But basically, you're getting 67 minutes of instruction. So let's talk a little bit about what you get specifically here. If you go and you're considering this product and you're reading the ad copy is really accurate. I don't really have any issues there. There's slight sort of, exaggeration, but it's well within the realm of that. I don't feel like they're cheating or misleading you in any way. But what really is important about this one is not the routine and not the ACAAN, but really sort of the inside perspective. It really is Dani's philosophy of when he structures his routine and the importance of having pillars within that. So he'll talk more about pillars, and pillars really for him, and my very clumsy way of describing it, is really about the moments in which your spectator, how they feel and how they think about what is happening. And this will happen throughout several portions within a routine, and why those moments are important, why they're structured the way they are, whether it's in order to create misdirection, whether it's to create a false memory, those sorts of things. And so he spends a lot of time with the philosophy. The great thing about this one specifically is that you can take sort of Dani's philosophy and apply that to any of your card magic in terms of how you're building a routine and how you might structure it, how you might speak about certain points, how you might misdirect and why you misdirect. at certain moments. He'll spend a lot of time about that. So it's really applicable across any sort of card magic, or really magic broadly, but specifically around card magic and how you're structuring and putting together your routine. That's where the value is in this. So let me talk a little bit about, so you get the tutorial and what he's going to talk about. He will talk about false memories, and this is sort of one of the pillars. Like in the false memory piece, he'll talk about creating these moments. For example, false memories would be oftentimes you will have a spectator pick a card, but at the end we'll say, you thought of a card, and the spectator will go, no, I picked a card. And how they remember it is that they picked a card. Dani takes the time to go through a process that explains that at the end the person really goes, oh yeah, I thought of that card, rather than having to go back to the real memory is that they picked a card. Now, it is a randomly picked card, but you want the idea or the memory to be that I thought of a card. So he sort of takes that pick a card versus thought of card and the false memories around that and how to do that sort of a thing. He'll sort of, let's see, another example of that is things like the performer never touches the cards and that it happens in your spectator's hands the entire time. That would be a false memory with this routine. So he'll talk about how the spectator walks away with those sorts of feelings and thoughts and memories about the routine. And that's what this chapter 2 really focuses on, is that psychology and philosophy, and is not as heavy on the routine. And so if you're looking at this, that's just something for you to think about. Like, oh, I want to learn that routine. You'll learn the routine, but the value really is in the sort of the philosophy and psychology behind all of it. So the nice thing about what Dani does in this, and now I feel like I'm gushing and I don't want to gush too much, but I do want you to get a sense of what you're getting here, is that sometimes when you get magic tutorials and they talk about philosophy, they don't make it concrete, that it becomes very ethereal. And Dani takes time in his tutorial. He will show you the routine. He will then give you his philosophy and talk about his philosophy and how he applied it in the routine. Then he will go back and review the routine, so you'll see him, and then he'll voice over sort of how he applied his philosophy to the specific thing. So he really makes it concrete. It's not lofty, or he takes the lofty ideas essentially and shows you how he applies them in this routine, and then of course how you could apply them in your own routine or expand that to how you put together your own routines. So that's really nice. He sort of, again, I'll go back to his philosophy of performance and building these pillars and moments within his tutorials. All right, so let's get practical one more time. What are you going to learn? You're going to get the tutorial, you're going to get the philosophy, you're going to get the review of the application of that philosophy. You're also going to learn a block force in this. So if you don't know what a block force is, basically you're spreading the deck of cards, but you want them to pick a very specific group of cards. So he's going to teach the block force. That is definitely an advanced move. If you're a beginner magician, I think this is going to be challenging. So this is really for an intermediate and up type of level. You're going to learn the block force. He's also going to teach you a visual count. And a lot of magicians sort of do there's a visual count that's typically taught. Dani's going to teach his version of how he does a visual count. I thought both of these were really helpful, and they really are. I will say, if you're looking at this, you go, oh my gosh, I really want to perform that. Again, I'm going to say it's really intermediate level type of stuff. Not that you couldn't take the application of the philosophy to wherever you're at, but I'd say it's definitely more advanced. All right, so you're going to do the block force and the visual count. I'll also add that in this routine, he uses what's called the Ireland Shuffle. The Ireland Shuffle is the ability to essentially have your have the freely chosen card at the position within the deck. And so that is taught in chapter 1. He uses that force in this one, but he's not going to go into detail with teaching it. So if you want to learn this specific routine, you might want to consider chapter 1 in order to learn that if you don't already know it. And for $9.95, it seems like a really affordable cost in my opinion. All right, let's see. I've talked about that. So a lot of times I talk about what are the pros and cons, and really what I care about is what do you really need to know. Dani's a great teacher. I don't have any issues with his teaching. I think it's good. These are released in both English and in Spanish. Just know that if you speak Spanish, you can get this. You'll receive the Spanish version as well as the English version. I really like that Dani has tangibly taken the psychology and applied it here and shows how he does that. I think that's a real, if that's something you care about or you're interested in, that's what you're going to get in this. I'll also add, if you're a fan of Dani DaOrtiz's and you've purchased his stuff in the past or a lot of his stuff in the past, you're going to get repeat stuff on this. You just are. I don't think that's a bad thing. I think it's just reinforcing some of the things that you've already heard in his previous stuff, or you might get a new take or nuance on it based upon how he speaks about it. But there's definitely still new stuff here, but something, if you're considering it, you should know that sort of stuff there. All right. I mentioned that. I'd say at the end of the day, chapter 2, and I would say both chapter 1 and chapter 2 so far, is perfect for an intermediate to advanced card magician. I think that's where the skill level's at, that's where it's marketed at, and I think that's who this is really ideal for. And if you're buying them individually rather than as the entire package, this will focus really on the psychology of it, the sort of inside perspective, performing it rather than focusing on the routine. All right, so these are each $9.95 individually, or if you want to purchase them as a bundle, all 12, they come as $90. So I think you can sort of decide as you're going along whether you want to just pull the trigger and purchase the whole thing, or $9.95. I've said this in other videos that there's a lot of stuff that says a master class, and I really dislike the use of the term master class because I don't feel like I'm getting a master class in an hour. I would say this for me is turning into, it's like a master class. At the end of 12 videos, I feel like I've taken a master class from Dani DaOrtiz in the ACAAN and all the different approaches, ways to do it, and the psychology and philosophy of it. So I feel really good about that, and I like that. All right, I think Dani's making a great contribution to the magic community, and I really like chapter 2 so far. All right, so if you've purchased it, leave a comment down below and let me know what you think. Or if you got chapter 1 too, let me know what you think. If you didn't see chapter 1 review, go check that out. I'm going to try to put these up a little more quicker as these are released. Remember, it costs you nothing to like and to subscribe. I would love it if you did both of those. It's really appreciated. So, all right, thanks everyone for being here. I'm FiddlinJonny, and remember to keep fiddling around with your magic. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.